Gentlemen, allow me to start with a fact that might surprise you. Each year beyond the age of 60, your testosterone levels silently diminish, rendering you feebler, more fatigued, and less assured within your own body. Yet imagine if the secret to reversing that drop, to rekindling the flame you believed was extinguished, lay not in some drugstore vial, but in an everyday item like the baking soda container already residing on your kitchen shelf. I am Dr. Bora, a urologist and expert in men's health, boasting more than 30 years of guiding fellows like yourself back to their power, their vigor, and their zeal. I have witnessed what truly delivers results, and I have committed my career to providing genuine, natural, science-backed options for men past 60. Here is the irony that escapes most gentlemen. We tend to hunt for intricate fixes in costly tablets or hazardous therapies, all while bypassing the straightforward, potent cures lurking right before our eyes. Baking soda, combined with one particular natural element right before bedtime, can foster an internal setting in your body where testosterone not only endures, but flourishes. This evening, I will demonstrate precisely how this duo operates, why it bolsters healthier hormones, enhanced blood flow, and more consistent function. And above all, how you might implement it immediately. This is no mere hypothesis. It is a practical, natural approach you can adopt in under 5 minutes. And remain with me through to the finish, for I will disclose not just the element essential to blend with baking soda, but also the precise schedule that elevates this basic blend into a potent nightly ceremony for men beyond 60, seeking to reclaim a youthful, robust, and vibrant sensation once more. Prior to diving in, ensure you tap the subscribe icon and activate the alert chime so you catch every physician-vetted advice for sustaining your testosterone, stamina, and liveliness beyond 60. And I appreciate your input. If this clip strikes a chord with you, enter a 1 in the comments section. If it falls short, input a 0 and share ways I might refine these wellness insights to better serve you. Now that you grasp why this unassuming concoction merits your focus, let us commence with the groundwork. To genuinely comprehend why baking soda can yield such an impact, we need to first explore testosterone in depth, its profound significance for men over 60, and the consequences when its levels start to wane. 1. Why testosterone holds such importance after 60. As I face men in their 60s and 70s across my desk, I frequently encounter that same subdued admission. "Doc, I simply do not feel like my former self any longer." Their tones soften, their postures sag a touch more. Their gazes seek some comfort that their ordeal does not signal the close of the path. And in nearly every instance, the root cause remains identical: diminished testosterone. It catches most men entirely off guard. Still, it infiltrates virtually every aspect of their existence. Testosterone extends well beyond merely fueling libido, although that aspect alone renders it crucial. It serves as the core directive commanding your frame to remain resilient, to preserve muscle tone, to safeguard your skeleton against fragility, and to sustain a metabolic rate that resists the persistent midsection weight gain accompanying years. It ignites the clarity in your thoughts, the equilibrium in your disposition, and the solidity of your self-assurance. Absent it, the essence of masculinity wanes, not through abrupt downfall, but via a gradual, unyielding erosion that prompts men to question the whereabouts of their former robustness and dynamism. Past the age of 60, that erosion grows too evident to dismiss. Studies indicate testosterone diminishes by roughly 1% annually following midlife. However, the truth proves frequently more severe. For certain men, the plunge accelerates owing to suboptimal nutrition, insufficient activity, disrupted rest, ongoing tension, or prolonged pharmaceutical use. The outcome transcends a mere lab value. It manifests in your gait, your rebound, and your daily existence. The dawns where you rouse weary despite a full 8 hours of slumber. The middays where vitality plummets, prompting grabs for caffeine or sweets. The nights where closeness registers as burden rather than delight. These signal a framework deprived of the essential hormone that formerly embodied your essence. And the shifts extend beyond the corporeal. Testosterone exerts a significant influence on cognition. Reduced amounts frequently usher in peevishness, unease, or a persistent fog of melancholy. Drive falters. A fellow once charging toward endeavors with zeal and poise might now delay tasks, bereft of the ignition that lent him direction. I have observed unions tested not from vanished affection, but because stamina, longing, and assurance have been subtly undermined by endocrine ebb. Spouses frequently perch alongside their mates in my clinic, affirming wordlessly as I outline the indicators, eased to learn it stems not from emotional shortfall, but a physiological alteration amenable to remedy. What renders this so challenging lies in its incremental nature. Most gentlemen do not arise one morning devoid of all testosterone. Rather, it ebbs in tiny portions. The waistband cinches a fraction snugger. Sessions of exertion demand a bit more effort. Arousals forfeit a smidge of rigidity. Enthusiasm wanes ever so faintly. Increment by increment, segment by segment, the core of masculinity recedes into reminiscence. And owing to that leisurely pace, numerous men merely resign to it as an inevitable facet of maturation. They assure themselves this constitutes normalcy post-60, yet that conviction holds only partial validity. Herein resides the uplifting reality gleaned from years in practice. The ebb is authentic, yet not conclusive. Testosterone quantities remain modifiable. Your physique retains the capacity to generate this essential hormone even beyond 60. The crux involves cultivating the optimal setting, alleviating the barriers that hinder synthesis, and supplying your tissues the foundational elements required for their function. Upon grasping this, upon recognizing their lingering agency, optimism reemerges. They posture upright, not solely from hormonal uplift, but from reclaiming agency against the inexorable march of time. This marks the juncture where baking soda emerges so unexpectedly. Solitary, it appears merely as innocuous white granules for dough rising or surface scrubbing. Yet within your organism, it aids in tilting the scales toward testosterone favor, bolstering the mechanisms that falter with advancing years, and when united with a designated natural component, the potency amplifies further. Thus, let us examine more closely what renders baking soda distinctive, why it evades most men's notice, and how it might serve as an unforeseen supporter in safeguarding your masculinity beyond 60. 2. The unappreciated potency of baking soda. When the average man contemplates baking soda, visions arise of it in culinary spaces or stowed in cooling units to neutralize scents. It ranks as such a mundane domestic staple that proposing its involvement in male wellness nearly invites derision. Nevertheless, across the span of years, I have marveled at the frequency with which the plainest, most disregarded elixirs harbor concealed efficacy. Baking soda qualifies among those unobtrusive confederates. I recall a particular case, a gentleman nearing 70, who approached me in exasperation. He had sampled lavish additives, pored over promotions for hormone enhancers, even toyed with perilous endocrine infusions, yet none restored the reliable vigor and self-possession he yearned for. He nearly laughed aloud upon my inquiry whether he had pondered baking soda. "You refer to the powder I occasionally employ for dental care?" he remarked. Yet following several weeks of methodical application as prescribed, his expression conveyed it all. His stamina surged, his sinews protested less, and he sensed greater harmony with his form than in ages past. That moment reaffirmed for me once more. At times, resolutions dwell squarely in our view, yet we fail to direct our gaze there. The attribute endowing baking soda with such might stems from its capacity to alter your body's inner milieu. As years accumulate, our bloodstream and fabrics incline toward heightened acidity, a consequence of refined victuals, spirits, pressures, and inherent senescence. That sourness may evade detection, yet it burdens your units and disrupts the nuanced operations vital for endocrine fabrication. Testosterone, especially, languishes amid excessive tartness. Baking soda functions as a neutralizing force against surplus acidity. It aids in reestablishing equilibrium, forging circumstances where your units, encompassing the Leydig cells generating testosterone in your gonads, operate optimally. Yet that constitutes merely a segment of the narrative. An additional, disregarded advantage of baking soda concerns its influence on vascular flow and oxygenation. Circulatory health forms the cornerstone of dynamism. Devoid of robust circulation, limbs weigh oppressively, vitality ebbs, and tumescence forfeits vigor. Investigations among competitors reveal baking soda mitigates lactic acid accrual, facilitating superior stamina and rebound. Though few of us dash tracks in our 60s, the concept endures. Enhanced flow equates to amplified oxygen conveyance to your vitals, spanning your cardiovascular core and generative apparatus. And augmented oxygenation equates to amplified backing for testosterone and amorous efficacy. An additional nuanced yet significant influence pertains to weariness. Numerous men past 60 confide that lassitude shadows them perpetually. They perceive their forms as traitorous, despite keen intellects. Baking soda demonstrates capacity to alleviate the depletion from lactic buildup, affording your musculature swifter restoration and your physique the opportunity to persist actively sans equivalent depletion. It lacks allure in description, yet when you traverse sans exhaustion or engage mild exertion sans prolonged discomfort, the elevation in living standard proves transformative. Now, I hesitate to imply baking soda standalone equates to miraculous remediation. It does not. Employed solo, it yields certain gains, but authentic metamorphosis unfolds upon alliance with an apt natural counterpart. Therein, its promise awakens fully, aiding not merely in equilibrating your inner terrain, but in igniting the mechanisms permitting testosterone ascent. And shortly, I shall unveil which component, when fused with baking soda, converts this commonplace pantry staple into a formidable elixir for men beyond 60 desiring restored liveliness. 3. The collaborative force. Baking soda plus lemon juice. Upon initiating my inquiry into organic avenues for male wellness, I found myself astonished by the recurrent harmony between venerable customs and contemporary empiricism. Lemon-infused water, for instance, has served across eras as a purifying dawn beverage. Acclaimed for its invigorating essence and its prowess in harmonizing the physique, baking soda, albeit less ostentatious, has endured esteem for its pacifying digestion impacts and its aptitude in curbing tartness. Yet what captivated me deepest concerned the outcome upon these duo-elemental unions. Individually, each proffers merits. Conjoined, they forge an alliance altering corporeal operations profoundly. The instant lemon's sharpness encounters baking soda's mildness, effervescence ensues. The lemon's keen tartness clashes with baking soda's base, yielding a soft bubble, a carbon dioxide emanation. To observers, it resembles mere domestic alchemy, but internally, that interplay assumes greater gravity. It tempers the intensity of both, rendering them simpler to assimilate, more readily uptake, and adept at accessing requisite locales. I have fielded accounts from men noting initial astonishment at the blend's lightness and fluidity, as though their apparatus embraced it. That arises because this duo transcends agreeability. It proves operational. Lemon juice imports a potent boon. Vitamin C for gentlemen over 60. Vitamin C transcends mere immune bolstering. It erects a frontline defense for your testosterone synthesizing units. Those Leydig cells nestled within the testes endure perpetual barrage from oxidative duress. Free radicals, those volatile entities ravaging our matrices, intensify with maturity. Vitamin C interposes, shielding those units and enabling their persistence in crafting testosterone. Moreover, lemon juice aids nitric oxide genesis, the precise compound directing your vasculature to dilate and expand. This proves pivotal. For absent supple conduits, sanguine transit falters to critical zones. And as every gentleman recognizes, sound circulation underpins resolute, steadfast arousal. Baking soda intervenes to augment these dynamics. By equilibrating tartness, it furnishes an inner milieu permitting unhindered hormone assembly. In tandem with lemon, it aids in steadying glycemic indices, averting the undulations disrupting endocrine poise. I have observed fellows battling urges or diurnal vitality dips attain unforeseen constancy post-incorporating this brew into nocturnal regimens. That constancy transcends diurnal enhancement. It endows your physique the serenity and poise requisite for endocrine focus amid repose. An additional profound gratification derives from awareness that intricate protocols or lavish wares prove unnecessary for self-preservation. Numerous gentlemen relay sensations of empowerment, even elation, upon embracing efficacious, plain practices. Blending baking soda with lemon essence pre-nocturnally evolves beyond formula. It manifests as ceremony, an emblem that even amid 60s or 70s, agency endures. You retain capacity to nurture dynamism, to steer wellness trajectory. I urge you to envision temporal progression. As fortnights elapse, swelling subsides, vasculature persists pliant and unobstructed. Testosterone fabrication acquires requisite latitude, and the lassitude formerly encumbering commences elevation. Vitality flows equably, closeness registers instinctively, and self-assurance incrementally reasserts. This mirrors observations among my clientele, perpetually invigorating. Now that the might of this elemental pairing clarifies, the ensuing query holds equal weight. Precisely how ought you formulate it, and at what juncture to administer for maximal corporeal gain? As you will discern shortly, chronology unlocks its utmost efficacy. 4. The nocturnal ceremony. How and when to administer it. I have long held that modest, steadfast ceremonies surpass any wonder tablet in potency. Across years, confronting men in 60s and 70s, I have beheld how implanting a solitary, unpretentious custom at optimal diurnal phase alters all. Hence I term this baking soda lemon fusion the nocturnal ceremony. It eschews novelty or ruse. It harmonizes your organism's innate cadence with coveted sustenance and reinforcement. Herein lies a verity eluding many gentlemen. Your physique fabricates most testosterone during slumber. In nocturnal hush, as existence decelerates, your form labors at mending matrices, forging resilience, equilibrating endocrines, and equipping you for forthcoming daylight. It constitutes hallowed interlude, when your units peak in restitution against senescence's subtle theft. Hence chronology bears such weight. Consuming this fusion nocturnally pre-repose equips the apparatus at peak readiness for labor. The formulation proves elementary, preparable by any fellow in moments. Commence with a half teaspoon baking soda. Incorporate essence from a halved fresh lemon, roughly a teaspoon, into a diminutive vessel of water, merely 4 to 6 ounces. Agitate softly. Permit effervescence, then imbibe leisurely. Execute this circa 30 to 45 minutes antecedent to repose, affording your form the requisite cue. Baking soda neutralizes tartness, priming terrain, whilst lemon imports antioxidants, vitamin C, and nitric oxide impetus for vascular suppleness. Conjoined, they forge ideal milieu for innate testosterone escalation as somnolence overtakes. I recollect a dubious patient. He queried, "Doc, I have sampled all. What persuades you this plain aqueous draught will effect aught?" Yet he accorded me sufficient faith to experiment. Fortnight hence, he reappeared beaming unfamiliarly. He avowed auroral variance. He roused less rigid, less lethargic, imbued with innate impetus. His consort even noted amplified presence, engagement. Thereupon he comprehended it transcended the brew alone. It concerned provisioning necessities at opportune instants nightly. This ceremony bears inherent nobility too. Rather than pursuing transient vogues or cost-laden interventions, you recapture dominion via secure, organic, accessible means. It evolves beyond evening procedural element into declaration rejecting senescence's dominion over dynamism. I have beheld gentlemen posture erectly, articulate assuredly, comport alteredly, post mere weeks of adherence. This praxis's allure lies in its evolution alongside you. Prolonged dedication unveils escalating boons. Diurnal vitality steadies. Mild exertion rebound accelerates. Closeness shifts from strife to reminiscent ease. Instinctive, assured, even jubilant. Such unfolds when aligning with, rather than opposing, your form. Yet I desire your grasp that this constitutes partial vista. The ceremony lays groundwork, yet what sustains male adherence proves the perceptible evolutions, and that propels toward ensuing pivotal fragment. What transpires upon steadfastness? Upon endowing your physique 30 diurnal nocturnal aids, outcomes may astonish, and I shall delineate male encounters forthwith. 5. What gentlemen encounter post-adherence? Among prevalent inquiries upon initial nocturnal ceremony disclosure resides, "Doc, how protracted ere I sense tangible shift?" It merits candor, for by 60's attainment, myriad gentlemen have essayed innumerable caplets, particulates, and pledges yielding naught. I invariably respond identically. This concerns not abrupt prodigies, but equable organic evolution, and upon 30 diurnal adherence, alterations emerge subtly initial, then assertively, until internal reconfiguration dawns. Earliest male notations frequently concern vitality, not caffeinated or saccharine surges, but serene, reliable vitality enduring daylight. A septuagenarian likened it to persistent blaze versus sputter. He avowed obviating siestas for diurnal endurance, and postprandial canine perambulations left him unspent. That equability heralds initial endocrine re-equilibration, apparatus collaboration over antagonism. Another frequent male notation spans auroras. For annals, they roused inflexible, torpid, driveless. Yet post-weeks of nocturnal praxis, auroras varied. They roused alert, and oft with repatriated rarity, matutinal tumescence, innate male essence emblem, ranks, potent testosterone ascension, and sanguine enhancement indicator. Upon repatriation, it imports not mere corporeal preparedness, but profound solace affirming masculinity's persistence. As weeks advance, closeness evolves too. Numerous gentlemen relay diminished strife for longing ignition. It manifests instinctively, confidence concomitant. Consorts frequently precede male discernment in notation. They remark spousal amplified presence, tenderness, animation. Corporeal amelioration transcends solitary. Unions warm as performance unease burden elevates. I have beheld pairs rediscover intimacy presumed eternally dimmed. Somatic shifts manifest likewise. Midriff adipose, that defiant equatorial girdle deriding maturing males, contracts amid augmented testosterone fabrication. Sinews react swifter to mild exertion. Even ambulatory or elongative basics yield accelerated rebound, diminished ache, augmented visibility. One fellow jested mirrorward, salutations, acquaintance, for pectoral and brachial firmness supplanted flaccidity. These minor triumphs, aggregated, reaffirm corporeal dominion. Arguably, profoundest metamorphosis concerns confidence repatriation. Upon strength resurgence sensation, vitality equability, enjoyable closeness, they posture loftily, they articulate resolutely, they comport proudly. Existence transmutes from languid declension to expansive vista. I have beheld gentlemen revive antiquated pursuits, spousal voyages, or mere amplified smiling via recaptured capability. That assurance permeates existences, vocation, kin, amities, solitary reflections wherein mirror yields approbation. Yet I eschew mere envisioning. I seek your comprehension of amplification, hastening, perpetuation. For whilst baking soda lemon ceremony wields might autonomously, yields exponentiate via diurnal customs nurturing endocrine salubrity and vascularity, and that precisely ensues. Thus, foundational appropriation yields amplified dynamism. 6. Reinforcing customs amplifying efficacy. Across years, I have beheld gentlemen unearth elemental ceremony potencies like baking soda lemon fusion. And I have likewise discerned result extensions via select pivotal customs. Envision the fusion as seminal implantation. It harbors growth potential into robustness. Yet absent irrigation, luminescence, nurture, that germ fails maximal vigor. Analogously, your physique requisites determinate nourishments and vivendi selections, magnifying nocturnal ceremony impact. Conjoined, boons exponentiate. Evolutions deepen, hasten, endure. Among disregarded nourishments for 60s gentlemen resides zinc. I oft counsel patients zinc equates testosterone's starter mechanism. Absent it, apparatus fails ignition. Physique inadequately fabricates testosterone amid scarcity, and regrettably, myriad elder gentlemen endure it. Zinc vitally preserves prostatic integrity, pivotal amid maturation. Victuals like cucurbitan kernels, bivalves, legumes, and sinewy bovine segments rank richest reservoirs. And upon deliberate weekly dietary inclusion, endocrine retort strengthens markedly. I have fielded returns wherein mere nocturnal handfuls of cucurbitan kernels steadied and vitalized in weeks. Magnesium ranks another mineral I exhort, disregard, aversion. If zinc ignites, magnesium soothes the transit. Tension ranks paramount testosterone adversary, and maturing males witness stress endocrine's ascension. Cortisol and testosterone coexist incompatibly. One ascends, the other descends. Magnesium reigns cortisol. It cues your form. Ease. Normalcy prevails. Verdant folia, amygdalin nuts, even modest somber cacao tile furnish craved magnesium. I have beheld restless slumber strugglers repose soundly post-magnesium victual augmentation, and slumber amelioration trails testosterone. Equation simplicity belies salience, yet oft absents. Your sanguine exceeds 90% aqueous, and vascularity vitalizes vitality, tumescence, endocrine conveyance. Amid desiccation-thickened blood, apparatus labors augmentedly shifting oxygenation and nourishments requisitely. Incorporate spirits, exacerbation ensues. Via equation maintenance and spirits moderation, you bestow fluid poise optimizing operations. From cardiac sanguine propulsion to gonadal testosterone genesis, slumber merits distinct heed. I have tallied innumerably gentlemen admitting 5 to 6 nocturnal hours, yet, anticipating juvenalian endocrine yields, verity simplifies. Nil slumber, nil testosterone. Predominant hormone fabrication transpires amid profound repose. Hence, baking soda lemon nocturnal optimality. It preps maximal overnight fabrication. Pairing with 7 to 8 uninterrupted hours doubles steak, yield incontrovertible, and ultimately, locomotion. I intend not arduous regimens or endurance dashes. I denote lenient, steadfast locomotion, sustaining sinew activation and sanguine flux. Postprandial vivacious stroll, elongative minutes, banded or weighted mild resistance. All Q apparatus testosterone necessity, strength valuation, vitality essentiality. I have observed gentlemen transfigure vitality strata via ceremony conjoined with mere 20 diurnal activity minutes. Upon aggregating these customs, zinc victuals, magnesium backing, equation, slumber caliber, diurnal locomotion, you forge ideal milieu for baking soda lemon labor. It resembles domiciliary portal and fenestral aperture flinging admitting zephyrs. Your form flourishes, yields irrefutable. Yet arguably mightiest transfiguration transcends somatic. Upon habit commitment and evolution discernment, profundity shifts. Assurance burgeons, perspective illuminates. Senescence equates not capitulation, realization dawns. And that propels toward paramount verity. Post-60 masculinity reclamation affective odyssey. An odyssey reshaping not solely physique, but holistic existence. 7. Effective summons to agency. Post-60 masculinity reclamation. Amid vocational span, I have fielded myriad colloquies with 60s to 70s gentlemen inclining officiously, toning subduedly, confessing rarities. They dread self-loss. They reminisce innate vitality eras, effortless ardor, when resilience and impetus inhered identity. Now, mirror-word, they ponder eternal vanishment. I invariably respond identically. Physique may alter, yet masculinity persists. It abides awaiting reclamation. Verity posits senescence transcends numerals. It concerns confrontation modality. Affirmatively, testosterone ebbs. Affirmatively, vitality dims unchecked. Yet you wield not impotence herein. I have beheld near abandoners self-rediscover via modest, steadfast selections accruing momentum temporally. Baking soda lemon ceremony allied supportive customs discoursed constitutes such selection. It transcends dual ingredient admixture. It nightly pre-repose declaration. Senescence defines not. I contemplate oft a tardy 60s gentleman approaching, posture sagged, timbre low, persuaded optimal epochs posterior, skeptical upon elemental baking soda lemon proposition, yet wagering no loss. Lunar cycle hence, he re-enter directly, clasp firmer, gaze luminous. He avowed not juvenility repatriation, but self-repatriation, and that sufficed desire. Such embodies masculinity reclamation potency, not 20 feigning, but contemporary optimal embracement. Profound effective liberty accrues upon vitality influence realization. Birthdays transmute from declension proximation to strength confidence any age growth opportunity. Kinships profit via momentaneous vitality presence importation. Perspective alters via purposeful auroral rousing over resignation. And paramountly, self-pride repatriation, not capability alone, but holistic vivendi perpetuation decisional. This summons eschews trepidation or precipitancy. It embodies optimism. It reminds post-60 aliveness, virility, robustness path exists. Costly interventions or perilous abbreviations prove dispensable. Steadfastness, credence, diurnal microstride valor suffice. Herein learned ceremony conjoined slumber, nourishment, equation, locomotion reshapes not solely soma, but self-perception. Envision 30 diurnal nocturnal inception. Auroral vitality afflux. Consortword assurance. Locomotive ease. Cogitative lucidity. pride, renewal, epical undefeat, realization, futurity, accessibility. It abides, claim awaiting, and visionary potency notwithstanding, I propel further. For post-60 masculinity reclamation salience grasped, I shall coalesce all into unpretentious yet existentially transformative terminus. Vitality fortification itinerary assuring anterior annals not mere elongation, but opulence and plenitude surpassing imaginings. Conclusion. Gentlemen, we have traversed collective odyssey. One inaugurating elemental baking soda cask, culminating profound post-60 masculinity verity. You have discerned testosterone profundity herein, its equable ebb impacting not solely soma, but vitality, disposition, assurance. You have assimilated ordinary baking soda, oft disregarded, systemic equilibration aidance, and lemon juice paired, transcendence to potable, endocrine fabrication, vascularity, nocturnal repose vitality support habit. We have discoursed chronology import, nocturnal admixture rhythmic alignment. We have probed adherence yields, ameliorated auroras, equable vitality, resolute tumescences, irradiant life assurance. We have examined supportive customs, zinc, magnesium, equation, repose, diurnal locomotion multiplying, somatic flourishing enablers, and we have grazed affective verity. Masculinity reclamation chases not juvenility, but intrepid chapter ingress with resilience and nobility. I have beheld these strides transformative, gentlemen, ocular ignition upon impotence negation, vitality proprietorship realization. And now I defy you, learned assimilation proprietorship. Ensuing 30 diurnals, ceremony adherence vow, customs embracement, mutational credence permission. This narrates not terminus. It inaugurates fresh chapter. Vitality, assurance, intimacy, purposive plenitude chapter. And I persist. Stepwise reminder. Senescence defines not masculinity,